victory over Dig in a series that maybe you didn't expect that you would be able to win fully, but then all of a sudden now having the realization that you could win. You do the same thing you did in the last game. You could win this series versus Dignitas. Does that add pressure? Does that add nerves? Or are they feeling the momentum now?
On paper, probably you'd look at that as yes. But in talking to these players in Ishbu and BBJ, when you start to know their personalities, they are just, they're fun guys. They're very confident. When we spoke to them, they are very well-spoken individuals. They understood their role, who they were, and they embraced it. And they're coming out here. So I would say that the nerves are definitely there. They have to be. You're on stage. But I would say comparatively towards potential other people, I think that they're probably just like, this is fun. I mean, Arthlon up there, I've never seen a guy so chill in the middle of a game doing stuff that you're like, look, you probably shouldn't do that, but Arthlon's like, I got this.
He's calm in game. I definitely can, from experience, I definitely can tell you he's very calm in game.
Okay, well, so like talking about nerves, flip side, let's think about Dignitas right now.
Yes.
They dropped a series to Zealots, and is this deja vu for them? We just lost to NA, the 4th seed of NA that everyone, considered to be like the top 3 and then HeroesHearth, and like I think nerves are a huge, I've been in that situation. Nerves are a huge, like on your mind right now. Like, are we actually gonna lose? Are we gonna be the first team to lose to NA? Like that, okay, the draft is crazy right now.
Abathur made it through.
Yeah, Abathur made it through, but bear with me. HeroesHearth banned out Hanzo. We have the gray main factor, but Tracer is a factor for both teams. One of the reasons why you might not see Crowan play Tracer as much in HGC is, we're on a lane environment. Having that basically 0 ping is a very different feel when it comes to snap decisions like you have to play on Tracer at all times. If you do not pick a hard counter here in the form of Uther, potential Tyrael, then you're gonna give that up to Dignitas. So you have to be prepared for that. And I think that they are.
Oh, I think Dig are most certainly going to go into Tracer. They already have Malfurion. That's the only way that they'll play Tracer is if they get Malfurion already. I don't think HeroesHearth wants to pick Tracer into that. So you're right. They're going to have to get some sort of counter. They'll get Sanctification. They'll get a bunker.
I would really like, though, again, the Abathur is in here making it through, and it's an unorthodox, older strategy, but if we see Dignitas go with a bit more like an Abathur Tracer with the hyper auto attack build and make her the hyper carry, use the 4-man skirmish into a double melee like this, we can expect HeroesHearth to rely on the 5 versus 5 up in mid. NA relies on that on maps that don't depend on it, and BOE accents that playstyle. If I see any kind of transition here for Dig to play the slow macro, I really feel like they might be able to stand out.
Well, and I was gonna say, like, counteracting the Tracer, they already have the tools. They have Bunker, they have Sync. So you're picking Tracer into an already difficult comp. I agree with you. I feel like Tracer Abathur is a very strong composition, and they're gonna have to get some kind of a backliner, right? But you already, on that last team fight around the bottom keep, they showed that they used the Sanctification into the Bunker, into the Ancestral, basically using everything onto Crowan, saving his life. That they do go with the Tracer Li Ming, but I mean, that's a very beefy front line that they're gonna have to get past.
The one reason I think I like Dignitas committing to the Tracer in this rotation compared to other circumstances with that double counter initiation is BOE accents levels 1 through 9 very, very heavily. And it's just like, can Dignitas get the snowball with that Tracer to really, make it an irrecoverable game? And I feel like the Li Ming behind that is only gonna further that, right? Here comes the pulse bomb, there's the reset, and this game is won before 10's even hit.
But I think right now, this reminds me of a little bit of HeroesHearth before, where you kind of take away. But here, I'm going to caution against that because I started to think about that while they're over here. I'm thinking, all right, so HeroesHearth essentially banned themselves out against Gale Force. Hello, Michael Udall.
Hi, it's me.
You guys basically picked the heroes early, banned them out in the draft. Greymane is still available. Arthas, a known natural counter. Tychus is kind of that backup, not necessarily the grilled cheese, right? And so that's what scares me. Cassia is still available. Cassia does do well against this style, but not against Li Ming. So where does that come into play? In Dread's head, you already have the double melee. Could it be a potential triple melee again to control that front line, give somebody that added protection on the back, and take the onus of being that hard carry off the backside and just play something safe?
Is anyone else as amazed as I am that wasn't Greymane?
I actually, call me crazy here, but I feel like that was not beyond the Greymane. I look even, again, I'm more worried about macro here and the play around that and the pressure that might be able to apply. But again, both of those, the Genji just seems out of place in general, is the best way to put it there. Especially knowing that Tyrael picked up, there's, again, the same composition we saw in game number 1. It felt out of place there for Dig in the secondary ban. And I'm hoping that we see the answer kind of for that here within their last 2 picks.
Will we get Zeratul again? I mean, Thrall, Zeratul, I think, are very viable here against this.
I think Thrall or Artanis, that's what I was going to mention.
Artanis?
it's such a beefy hero, right? Like, Li Ming wants to get resets. Who are you going to get a reset on? Tyrael? Blaze? I mean, Greymane's pretty tanky as far as ranged assassins go. Uther, Artanis. I mean, it is a bunch of frontliner, but you have Tyrael throwing Smite on the ground, speeding everyone into them, where it's, okay, you have a comp where you need to get resets. You have a lot of blow up for a backliner, but basically you're taking out that option of, okay, there is no backliner you can blow up. I'm not sure if we'll see it, but I do actually really like the Artanis because it brings race as well. It allows you to do a 4-1 split when your mortal spawns, right? So you have the Greymane, Tyrael, Uther, Blaze defending, and then you have Artanis racing.
I feel like it's absolutely dire that Dignitas gets something macro-oriented. I keep bringing it up because there's so much team fight for HeroesHearth that if they don't get anything to be able to deal with that side lane pressure, and be able to make HeroesHearth essentially respond to them at some point in the map and panic on those initiations, I don't know if they can go toe-to-toe in a full 5 versus 5. I feel like that last game very much showed the strength of North America when we pick these deathball compositions, and you want to match us in a full 5 versus 5. And Dig right now, everything in their composition is catering towards that.
I think the ETC pickup changes a lot of what HeroesHearth could have done. The Artanis definitely could have fit, but you try and hit Q, you try and dash out. ETC can interrupt you in the middle of that. Thrall, not so great. Zeratul, not so great. Because if you have that many melee going into a bunker, going into things like that, ETC, his value just accumulates. You get the slide, you get the Li Ming combo, you get the roots from Malfurion. I think it's a lot scarier into this composition now that ETC's been picked up.
Yeah, what about Abathur? Oh, Lucio, double support.
Oh, baby.
Ooh, I really like this pick. Just like what Dread was saying, Dignitas has very poor macro.
Yeah.
Their comp is that we have 2 CC tanks, we have a Tracer, we have a Lean, we have a Malf. We are going to one-shot someone. No, you're not. We have 2 supports. And double save. If this game gets post-10 and Dignitas doesn't have a very strong lead, I think that we are going to see North America win today.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys, how important is it with this Li Ming, with this Tracer, that Dignitas get things done on this map before Heroics hit for HeroesHearth?
Flat must. Absolutely necessary that we see Tracer and Li Ming make stuff happen, level 1 through 9.
What do you think?
I don't, it feels that way, but that's kind of the way Dignitas works. But I can't help but have flashbacks of Week 5 versus Zealots and think that if I'm watching HeroesHearth, they closely resemble Zealots in the sense that they're not just going to out-macro you. They're not going to come out level 1, start the macro play, and just force the action. What they do is they team fight really well. They have incredible synergies. They've played together for a long time, as you said, the longest standing roster, in North America coming in, things like that. And so for me, I see HeroesHearth filling that role similar to Zealots, who pulled off the upset just 2 weeks ago.
One last prediction phase for this first series of the Western Clash. Mike?
I'm going with HeroesHearth. I think if they're going to lose probably the first Immortal. I think the second Immortal they'll be relatively even in experience. I think they'll barely lose it, but they won't lose that much, so that they'll get a 10 to 11 fight, and from that point they'll just snowball the game.
I do worry about that with the Lucio being picked up is where does your race come in? And if you do get behind against the Dignitas, that's a very scary feeling. Got to go with Dignitas.
I hesitate to support the Lucio pick as well, just because I feel like they'd already won the draft, and it's furthering into what they already committed to, so much so that it feels too much now into that area. Dignitas is a controlled team. They have the Tracer. I gotta stick with them. I'm going with Dig.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep with the experience of Dignitas over HeroesHearth in their drafting, but I have to say HeroesHearth have put on quite a show, and I would be happy to be proven wrong by HeroesHearth Esports, especially because that would be NA over EU, but you know who probably would not be too thrilled about that? Because he has to be up at the desk with me next. That would be Kaldor. He and Trick are coming at you with Game 3.
I think she knows me.
Yeah, she knows you a little bit. You're sitting back here, nah, they got it, blah, blah, blah. We're getting ready for game number 3, something I don't think either of us expected to say here, with HeroesHearth and Dignitas going into that third match.
Now, there's of course one aspect that we still have to talk about. We are looking at the first game of the tournament, and a lot of teams will try to hide a few strategies there. But of course, if you go too much there and you lose the games, then you find yourself in a really awkward spot. And that's exactly what Dignitas could face here if they lose now. They're starting off to the left in game number 3. We have JPL on Murden, Zelia again on Malfurion, Snitch on Tracer as Poik is playing Li Ming, and Wooby on ETC.
On the right side, in the red, HeroesHearth. Arthelin playing Uther, McIntyre playing Blaze, BBJ on Lucio, Ishbu playing Tyrael, and Crowan back on Greymane. Will this composition be strong enough for winning the Immortal races?
It's really tough to kill these guys. I mean, you have to think about everything they have in this arsenal. A double support, Lucio, you have the shields of Tyrael, and you have the bunker around Blaze. So the kill potential on Dignitas' side is strong through the blow-up that we have with Liming, with also Tracer, especially if you can set kills up by a Stormbolt, a power slide into a good route. But the survivability that HeroesHearth has, especially after level 10, is absolutely incredible.
That it is. We'll be keeping an eye on Dignitas even to get those kills. Typically, when you're looking at a composition that HHE has, you're looking for that Greymane kill. How do you find it? How do you take away him from the composition? If you do that, then suddenly you've won the team fight. But as you mentioned, it is quite difficult to do so.
Yeah, at this point, JPL is getting a couple of Stormbolts in here. Let's keep in mind that he is a huge favor in one of the players that has a really long history of playing Muradin. A 5-0 in Europe. And especially when we're talking about Tracer in the hands of Dignitas, they're fantastic with her. Currently sitting at a 7-0 win ratio with Tracer. Now granted, a lot of these times we see Poik on Tracer, but we have seen also Snitch perform amazingly well on the hero.
Yeah, when you have three of the best Tracer players on your team, you can pretty much switch up if you need to. Don't forget, Xaylia is pretty scary though, even though he's playing support for this season. Snitch coming in there with a little bit of harassment, but you've seen the idea. Find Greymane, drop a Pulse Bomb or two, try to get out that shield, and then have Liming follow up into a combo. They were able to get Crowan a bit low, as well as Ishbu, who had to tap, but it will be a difficult task to continue doing this. Those shields constantly popping out have been annoying for Dignitas.
I'm really wondering how after level 10 Dignitas is going to get those kills against HHE. Now, of course, when we're talking about Battlefield, a lot of these fights early on are highly important, as the objective can give you the lead that you need to snowball the game. And that's something that Dignitas is going to be looking to. They want to try and get that lead before Divine Shield is available, before we have the sound barrier and also the potential sanctification here. The bunker in particular. Again, the root attempt by Xaylia, and they are poking away at that bot lane, and they're doing well early on.
Getting a little bit of space here. Just get HeroesHearth to back up so they put some damage on that turret. Crowan jumping in once again while JPL's holding base there. One of the good news for Dignitas is they have Xaylia, Malfurion. Whenever that Greymane does come in, just drop down the root, and you have auto-zoning right away.
Yeah, and as we're talking about the survivability of HeroesHearth and Greymane, let's just also talk again about level 7, Wizened Duelist. If you don't die, you don't lose stacks. And once you have that completed, the damage output that you put on the table, not only against your opponent's team, but also the Immortal is just absolutely fantastic. So if they can keep Greymane safe, that would be great for HeroesHearth, and that's the strategy that they come in with into game number 3. And this could be the first game in 2 years where North America walks away with a victory against Europe.
Well, Dignitas trying to stop that, and they've kind of revealed their game plan here. The level 4 getting picked up, Sledgehammer, dealing extra damage to non-hero enemies. So that means we can have Dignitas walk in with a Stormbolt and help try to pop down the Immortals as quickly as possible. Murding is actually a little bit underrated when he goes for this build in terms of burning down an Immortal.
Yeah, very aggressive build from Muradin here. Normally you are trying to go for a survivability build with him. That's the normal playstyle, but this time we have a bit of an adjustment, as you mentioned. The perfect Storm on level 1, the Sledgehammer now on level 4. So highly speccing into the damage potential here against Immortal, against structures. Really trying to get that out in the game. And also the Vengeful Roots taken on level 4 now for Malfurion. So definitely some aggressive adjustments on Dignitas' side.
Yeah, Dignitas wanting to poke where they can. Liming as well will help out with burn down the Immortal, and so far you're seeing the result here as HeroesHearth is falling behind. HeroesHearth trying to force a fight though. They go straight for Poik, trying to pick him up, but he barely survives.
Yeah, close call here for Poik, but he's able to move out, and now we once again have up to the top lane. ETC nearly defending against the camp. He could move in for the Immortal. The bottom is still pushing through. Big advantage for Dignitas in that regard, as HeroesHearth is trying to put some pressure onto the objective. But so far the European team is doing extremely well in this first Immortal phase.
Yep, Wubby and JPL able to finish that up. We'll see if Dignitas will go for the race here, if HeroesHearth is going to either trade out or go in for an engage. Things are a bit difficult with the mercenaries pushing in the bottom. HeroesHearth is forced to actually play defense.
And in the meantime, Stormbolt after Stormbolt is hitting home. JPL currently sitting at 9 stacks on both of the quests here. The bottom has taken a severe amount of damage, and to the left we can see Poik and Snitch just destroying the Immortal. They claim the first one, and they can now walk away with an experience lead here. And also, 2 additional globes for ETC, Whoopi with his level 1 talent, with Brock sitting at 11 stacks already, so doing really well. And that will help his team later on with additional survivability around team fights.
That's a really quick stack up there. 11 out of the 20 as needed there. Mostly because he was able to stay well in the side lane and soak the experience and also grab his opponent's regen globe. So Dignitas working quickly for that prog rock. And they're also working on the top lane. 7 finally hits here. HeroesHearth playing defense where they can, but the turrets, they're definitely going down. But can Dignitas get more? Pulse Bomb comes out, Arthlon's low, and he's popped.
Yeah, there's the kill right there, and Broccoli helping out as well. Vengeful Roots now with a 7 stacks here already early on, and just look at the experience. Dignitas is going for the level 8, for the 1 level lead. They're moving in, taking apart the fountain, and now in a 4 versus 3 scenario, they can also try and dive here. The Immortal is defeated. HeroesHearth trying to push back. McIntyre is coming in now too, helping out with the defense, but we see ETC still sitting at the flank here, seeing if he can maybe shock around and knock someone out. Make sure that, of course, Malfurion or Muradin hit the follow-up CC. But Dignitas still poking here, utilizing what they have in this setup.
Yeah, they are very content to poke. They know they have to escape with the roof down. JPL able to jump away if he doesn't get stunned in the middle of the animation. Dignitas keeping up this pressure, looking for that fort. They really, really want it. To be fair, it's not too much for them to grab on the map now. They can grab the mercenary camps to the top, but as long as they play safe and they keep this experience lead, they should be just fine.
Oh, nice combo here against Drone. The follow-up is there. Another Stormbolt hitting. And JPL at this point sitting at 14 stacks on Perfect Storm and, of course, his Stormbolt quest. So doing well, but HeroesHearth still holding on to the top. Again, the aggression, the Pulse Bomb is coming in. Ishbu on the way back. Crone going deep, maybe a little bit too much. JPL wants the kill, and they're trying to get it. Crone moving out, the heal comes in, but Snitch is on the case and takes him down.
Xaylia just outplaying the Greymane, diving in there, dropping down the root, kiting towards his teammates, stepping to the side. Crone was forced to go a little bit too far, allowing for that kill to come in. And as we mentioned, the moment Greymane's down, Dignitas opens up the map. They move in, they grab the top wall, they even put a little bit of damage on that keep, but Immortals spawning in 20 seconds allows them to back up with that level 10.
Dignitas with the aggression, saying playtime's over, boys. They're starting to go in, and the level 10s are dropping any seconds as Immortal number 2 is 10 seconds away. And HeroesHearth just is in no position where they can fight for it yet. They are still on level 8. They need more than a level to claim their heroic abilities, and that's a huge problem for them.
And Dignitas is moving full into the team fight here. Mosh Pit being picked up for Wubby. Sometimes you can see a stage dive picked up, especially when you're a little bit ahead and try to come in with the side soak. But Wubby's wanting to force these engages. Already in the front line for his team.
HeroesHearth looking for the damage on the level 7 through Vision Duelist and Swift Retribution. That's what they're trying to aim for here, but they still don't have the 10, and there's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can do. They know that they back up. They have to play defensively. They put Tyrael in the bottom lane. He has the best escape in case a gank comes his way, so they don't mind putting him there. But Dignitas, meanwhile, says, okay, we'll just go ahead and grab the Immortal. Look at this lead they have.
Yeah, they have an absolutely insane lead here, and HeroesHearth is now at least trying to reduce the shield amount that we'll see on the Immortal for Dignitas. They also are about to take that camp, and they get it, but this is still bad news for them. This is going to be rough. HeroesHearth is about to claim level 10 abilities, so they can at least use them for the defense. But at the bot lane, the fort has taken severe damage. Dignitas is pushing in. They're willing to dive here, and they still have their own camp in position. And this Immortal could go for keep.
Fort down. Prog also finishing up here for Wubby. The keep wall under siege soon.
Perfect timing for Prog here for them.
Great. All 5 group up. Able to keep those heals coming in. HeroesHearth hits 10 though, so they do have the engage. Now, will they try to force something on the back line behind the Immortal? They are. Crowan's going for a flank.
And this is exactly what they want here. They have so many tools to keep the heroes alive, but Crowan, he needs to survive. And the Divine Shield is already out as he's trying to move in. He's going for a point. Here comes the silence, and Greymane is down. Perfect play by Dignitas here, taking the damage out, and now HeroesHearth is in trouble. They're on the run, trying to retreat, dropping the bunker, using it for the armor, but the Immortal moving through the wall and aiming straight for the keep here as we once again see the engage happen. And Tyrael is down as Dignitas is going in for the kills.
And they spread out to deny the trait value. The keep gets focused down. Wubby's still in that front line. Greymane will be back up in a couple of seconds. Here he is back in the fight. Now, what will Dignitas do? Do they move in for the core, or do they back up? They're still dancing. They're posturing, looking for an engage.
They're thinking about it. They're looking for another kill. They're already starting to move in. And here comes the follow-up, and immediately Greymane is dead again. Goodbye. The wolf is down, and so is Luke. Lucio as Dignitas says, just kidding, boys, we got this. They start moving in, still trying to fight, but the Immortal gets baited. He's actually wandering around. He's completely lost.
He went on a detour, went to the middle lane instead, and put a little bit of damage there, and that actually might be an issue here for Dignitas. They can't push with that Immortal not being on the core, and HeroesHearth will survive.
I mean, as funny as that was with the Immortal just aimlessly wandering around in the base and just enjoying his time, that's actually annoying for Dignitas. If that Immortal moves onto the core, Dignitas ends right here with a kill against Greymane and then the Lucio follow-up. Even with the low death timers, we would have seen the game either end, but at least the core takes severe damage.
At least it takes some damage. As you mentioned, the keep being taken down, the armor went low, but it's able to regenerate here, so they still have 100%, but Dignitas, they get level 13. They still have a talent advantage on their opponent, and they're able to grab mercenary camps to push in the bottom lane. And don't forget, catapults constantly coming in.
A big problem that we had the entire time is that HeroesHearth just lost Greymane twice. And if your entire setup is really screaming protect Greymane, that can't happen. So right now, HeroesHearth, they need to make sure that Crone doesn't fall, that he gets his stacks, because let's face it, right now, he's sitting at 0 stacks on the Wisdom Duelist. And as we can see on the screen, Murden just completed his Stormbolt quest. He has also 19 stacks on the Perfect Storm. And he has now an even easier time to just stack that up even further. He's throwing it out against the structures because thanks to his level 4 talent, he does the extra damage with Sledgehammer. So they can just burst down buildings, and that's exactly what they're doing here. He's going to be a menace later on once that we are starting towards the second keep or even the core.
He's already a menace. I mean, he's basically Darth Maul status right
Yeah.
now. Power Slide goes in, we'll hit one member. Ishbu backing up here, that wall completely deleted here. With Immortal spawning at 20 seconds, Dignitas doesn't risk anything. They know they have a slight lead. They know their opponents are still half a level from that 13. They back up and control space.
On level 13, we still have healing static for Murden. Just pointing it out here, since of course usually you try to go for the reparation. In this case, we don't have it, so normally it's the second clap that you really want to keep yourself alive a little bit more. Dignitas has played this more aggressively, but now as we are seeing them on level 13 talents with level 15 versus nearly level 13 for HeroesHearth, we see in a few seconds a fight that could happen on even talents, and that is what HeroesHearth wanted the entire time. They're looking for exactly that, and now their composition could really come to fruition here. But once again, the big damage output from JPL with the Sledgehammer, and of course the poke through Li Ming and Tracer.
Wobby's able to power slide away, still has his knockback if he needs it. Sanification is going to be used. Wobby trying to escape, but he falls. Greymane comes in and gets a kill. HeroesHearth is able to secure one. Can they get a second?
Whoopi is down and JPL escapes for now. Chrono, of course, looking for the damage output now as they are moving towards the Immortal. Bot lane is pushed in heavily though. Someone will have to react there eventually. We're seeing Dignitas still in position, but the shock around by McIntyre as they're trying to see if they can maybe jump on Zelia. He goes straight for his ult, dropping the Twilight Dream here, attempting to escape. Divine Shield on Crone as he goes in. He goes deep. Snitch trying to pressure him, but the bunker is in play and saves them for now as we see Poik and Snitch just barely escape.
Barely getting away. The pulse bomb denied by that bunker, but still, as you mentioned, that bottom lane is starting to be trouble for HeroesHearth. They will peel off Greymane, but that prevents him from getting on top of that Immortal and burning it down.
We're 13 minutes in. The catapults don't hurt as much yet, but there are 3 on the core, and there needs to be a reaction from HeroesHearth. Drone is on the way. The shields are lost, and the core is losing hit points as we see Dignitas moving in once again. Crone with the defense, but that was a big problem here. And the halftime show has started. This is another time window for Dignitas where they can put the extra damage in, and they are so close to 16. Trickster, if they get the Immortal and 16, that will be an insanely dangerous push to HeroesHearth.
HeroesHearth knows that. They immediately move in for the defense. They have to stop the poke from Poik. Ishbu jumps on top of the fight right away. Jet propulsion available for McIntyre. He's coming around the side, wanting to flank him, but Dignitas, they catch him. They put some damage on him.
Dignitas once again looking for an opportunity, especially Snitch the entire time, zipping in and out with Tracer, looking for opportunities to get a few hits here. A big wave has also accumulated at the top that it will eventually pressure the keep the longer this goes. And Dignitas is still playing this slightly passive. This they know. Just a bit more time, and 16 is going to be in their hands.
And they still have catapults in the bottom as well. They know that patience is on their side here. Arthlon comes around, goes in for a stun, but misses out. Snitch doing his best here to flank, catch where HeroesHearth is coming, and that allows Dignitas to back up again. JPL's able to move in, get a Stormbolt, and grab the Immortal.
Immortal is there, and the catapult once again in. The mosh pit, baby, and they go in. There's the kill, there's the double. Lucio down, Greymane dead, and all of a sudden, HeroesHearth is falling apart as Team Dignitas is going for the triple. They drop Turiel, and this is not the end of the story. McIntyre, it is lost on the wrong side of the map. Blaze is down, and Dignitas on their way to victory.
You can't jump in the bunker if you're too busy dancing. The mosh pit landing on 4 made it a little bit too difficult. Heroes Hearth gets wiped. Divine Shield from Arthur to stay alive, but Point says no. Comes in with a magic missile, gets the finishing kill there, and now the core will get focused down. Dignitas in game number 3 with a decisive lead over their opponents. 11-1 in kills are going to be able to earn the win and take the series over Heroes Hearth.
Dignitas is going in, and this is game a 2-1 victory as we see Dignitas move on to the next round